Welcome to yet another episode. Ndate Galactic over here. And oh my God, what a journey it's been. A wise man seeks counsel. So before I embarked on this journey, I did exactly that, and I sought counsel. I spoke to my dad, I spoke to my sister, I spoke to a couple of people, friends, Then she said, you better be very, very careful about the content that you put out. Our South African market is woke, and our people are here. They will roast you. And legit, I thought where have you been in the world where you get to a restaurant or a takeaway joint and you're like, can I please have the eagle roast cut in 8 peri-peri? Do I look like a chicken? Like for real? And it's I think we've got a lot of elephants in our zoo in this country, and I'm going to address them. And I don't feel at any point that I should water down, or I should sugarcoat, or I should airbrush any of the content we're speaking, in order to make it palatable for South Africans or any market, so to speak, I serve the God of the universe, the God of the heavens of the earth and the earth. I do not serve a South African God. I believe he's for all of us, and someone needs to take the stand and say, this is what's going on, We got problems in this country. We seem to be getting a lot of gold medals, but for all the wrong things. Unemployment, we're the highest in the world. Gender-based violence, we're the highest in the world. Crime, one of the highest in the world. And when it comes to drinking and partying, podium finish, pop the champagne, #1 in the world, And I just feel like it's a big cause of concern if we're so woke. So you cannot get a peanut butter and jam sandwich in South Africa without a bribe. There's a bribe for the peanut butter, there's a bribe for the jam, and they sure as hell will not forget the bribe for the bread. I mean, legit, I'll be driving around and you get stopped by a cop. Got your safety belt on, everything is in order. License and registration, everything's in order. Then the guy will say something stupid like, look, dude, I just stopped you and I just need a cold drink, It's the weekend, I'm thirsty. Don't you have 100 rand for me? Oh my God, okay. But look, that's legit, one of the smallest problems that we have, I think one of the things that get under my skin the most is in our country, everything is a joke. Everything is a joke. Legit, the most serious thing could be going on, and people are cracking jokes, and I can make an example for you. I mean, Shauna Ferguson passed away. It must have been the vaccine. Oh, no. Did you see Kings of Jersey? Yeah, no, he's dabbling in darkness. And it's not even one person. It's a whole gang of people just going in. Another example, very shortly thereafter, these young boys, the piano artists that passed away driving, they were driving from a gig after curfew, and they passed away the next morning. Yeah, they deserve to die. If you break the law, you must die. And let's not have crocodile tears. And in my head, I'm like, but who asked you? Who asked you? It's such a sensitive moment. A life was lost, for Christ's sake, but we out here. It's all a joke, and you ask yourself, what is it for? Is it for popularity? Is it trying to be cool? Is it just because we're so opinionated and we're so damn entitled as a nation? It just, It just legit like rubs me up the wrong way. Okay, I think for a second, let's put racism aside. But our own black brothers are xenophobic. I recall traveling with this friend of mine, Christian friend, you know, and he had legit just quoted some Bible story, his favorite story, and we're in the car and we're like, oh, God is great, hallelujah, hallelujah. And 10 minutes later, he said, I hate these Nigerians. They must go back to their country. And in my head, I was like, what's going on? Like the disconnect. And racism is, look, we've overcome apartheid, but racism is still rife in this country. And there was a dude who went out and he was, I don't know where he was, in Mauritius or whatever the case is, a Caucasian guy, and he took a video and he was like, wow, no kaffir in sight, you know? And it trended. The idiot obviously got fired from his job and whatever the case is, you know? But strangely enough, I think now recently, there was some celeb or whatever, and she was posting a live Instagram feed, a black lady, and there was some white lady who was saying to her that, no, she's parked in the incorrect place. This is for disabled people, whatever the case might be. Then she said, these white people irritate me, like live on Instagram. And I remember that whole thing trended and everyone was going on about like, but no, what about the disabled parking? She was parked in, and like everyone just like double ticked like the whole racist statement that she made, you know? And I'm not taking sides or anything like that, but I'm saying that there's a disconnect, you know? And I feel like we have so many issues in this country that we just rather blue tick. Rather blue tick, turn a blind eye, look the other way, say funny stuff like, oh, thank God it's not me, and just keep it moving. And it's just become a way of life. We are so used to like so many negative things, and we just keep it moving. And it's like, oh, South Africa, our beautiful land, is it really, you know? Like I legit feel like we are broken as a nation. Like we are broken. And you don't even have to look far to see the brokenness. You can just drive outside, and before you've driven a kilometer, you can encounter it, irrespective whether you live in Sandton, you live in Morningside, you live in Durban, you live in Umhlanga. It's all over the show. It's written, but we just blue tick it and we keep it moving. And I don't understand how we can do that as people. Just as people, forget as earthlings. Okay, but there's another thing that we're absolutely great at. We're great at this, pointing fingers. No, let me tell you who's to blame. It's the government. No, it's the ANC. No, it's the DA. No, it's the NP. Okay, no, but in Shaga's times, okay, it's Jan van Riebeck. No, it's not Jan van Riebeck. Jan van Riebeck came with the Bible. Therefore, let's blame white Jesus. Oh my God. And then it's like, you know, I listen to all these things and I think, once we have figured out this galactic answer, who to blame? And hypothetically speaking, or let's just use an example which you guys won't crucify me for. Let's use Jan van Riebeck as an example and say he is to blame for the turmoil that is going on in this country. Okay, the $1 million question is, then what? Like, then what? Okay, we blame him, and then what? No, then we go back on our phones and we talk about, us as black people need to start our own economy and us as black people need to revolutionize, and us as black people need to do this and do that and do that. And I sit and think, but I've heard stuff like this before. Like I've heard it before. I'm sure my dad's heard it before. I'm sure his dad's heard it before. I'm sure this thing has been going on for a long time. And I feel like we are here because what are we doing? Quick to talk, quick to go and post some African Renaissance thing and come up with galactic things, but is there ever a follow through? I don't see it. Like legit, I don't see it. And I still ask myself a question, and the question is, if we really could do it, why haven't we done it? And can we do it? Are we willing to do it? Or is it just crabs in a bucket, like we've always been? And I can make a typical example. The Pakistanis and the Somalis, they came into the hoods, they came into the ghetto, and they took all these paza shops. And you ask yourself, why? Why did they take these paza shops? How come they were able to do that? And maybe because we were failing to run the system like that. Apparently, they've got like a funding, or we call it a society, where they, every week, they pass the buck and they fund each other and they help each other and they pick each other up. And that's how come that they've been able to monopolize that industry on our turf, you know? And it's just, I ask myself, like, is it a mentality thing? Is it not a mentality thing? Are we not still stuck? And there's some huge disconnect when it comes to that. But that's just one of the elephants in the zoo. The list is endless. Another sad thing is that we have broken our women. Like, South African men are not only liars, cheats, especially married men. I mean, guys will say, like, come up with like a crazy excuse, like, why are you cheating? No, it's because I am African. Nah, you ain't African. You a cheat, dog. And like, my whole thing is like, why would you get married if you're gonna be a cheat? Like, why can't you just live an honest life and do whatever you want to do and not get married and have 1,000 women, if that's what you want? But then you go and you lie, and then it's another lie on top of another lie, and then there's kids here and there's kids there and there's kids there. And that's legit why we're a fatherless nation. Like, kids are growing up without their dads, because these dads they're in a place called Daddyville. And in Daddyville, there's no phones, there's no ATMs, there's no internet banking, there's fuck all, there's nothing. And kids grow up being raised by the streets or by their moms or by their grandparents. And I know it's cool, like in hip hop, like, yo, the streets raised me. But the streets don't raise no one. The streets will swallow you whole. And that's just the bottom line, you know? And it's kind of taken this whole thing, like, it went from like a beautiful setup to like now this like slippery slope. We can't even swim, let alone ski, but now we're on the slippery slope where women are like, a man must. And guys are auctioning or bidding for women because there's just a whole bunch of washed money and stolen money and looted money that's just all over the country. And obviously with the gram and everything else, people are very easily accessible as opposed to maybe a decade ago. And I heard like the funniest thing of late, you know. I heard that these influencers, these big time influencers, the ones where you like, oh, oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous. Like legit, like apparently, allegedly, they are all prostitutes. And it's not okay, but I can't knock their hustle. So somewhat, there's a market for it. So that's the sad story. There's a market. But what brings my heart to tears is that I've got a daughter. So now my daughter is on the phone and she's on the gram and she's double ticking, not knowing that she or they are inspiring or aspiring to be prostitutes. And that's как said. And if that is true, then it's like legit. We've got these prostitutes that are showing us the land of milk and honey, where us as a nation are legit in the wilderness. Like, talk about deception. Oh my God. And I'm only skimming the surface. The issues that we have got in this country run ocean deep. And how do we solve it? Do we do what we're champions at doing and blame, point fingers? That hasn't seemed to work for us for a very, very long time. And it's evident that we failed. They have failed us. And I'm legit at a point where I feel like we need divine intervention. We need a miracle because it's not getting better. It's only getting worse and at God's speed. And if you look at the scoreboard, you can clearly see that darkness is ahead by a long shot, you know, and it's all smoke and it's mirrored in deception. Let me put it that way. And I feel that us as a people need to come together and need to solve the problems that we have. And how do you solve the problems that we have? It's all internal. It starts by me changing my racist thoughts, my xenophobic thoughts, my sexist thoughts. It's changes, it's changes that need to happen internally, where that good energy can brush off to the next person. But if we continuously driving around road rage, oh, black people are like that, Indians are like that, oh, coloreds are the worst, oh, but those black guys, like legit, it's never gonna end. It's never gonna end. And I really, really believe that us as a people need to come together for one common cause. And that is to heal our beautiful land, because we have been failed. No hallelujahs today, but Jesus Christ. Oh my God.